Okay, we're back. Now, what we have to do is go in there and get the seat out. This seat removal tool has a hex on one end and a square on the other end. I know for a fact there's a hex-shaped seat in there, so we're going to go in there with this. We're going to go inside. We're going to give this a little tap, and I'm giving this a little tap because this is new, but you may want to get your hammer and give it a rap counterclockwise. And we're going to take that seat out. And you'll back your seat out, and the seat that you take out probably is going to be, you know, all chewed up, all cut up, all, you know, not serviceable. So you'll get your new seat, and we're just going to reverse the procedure, guys. So we're going to get our new seat, and we're going to go back in clockwise, and we are going to snug up. And we don't want to kill it, but we want it in there tight enough as to not create any leaks. Okay. Now it's time to put the stem back. Now, what I recommend when you put this back is a couple of things. On these threads here, these very fine threads, these are the threads that the chrome sleeve screws onto. You might want to get yourself some waterproof silicone lube to put on there and liberally put it around there. The other thing you must make sure of, you want to make sure this stem is in the fully open position. You see what I'm doing there? I'm backing up that washer and cup onto the body. That's fully open, so I can go ahead and tighten this and not worry about me smashing or pushing the washer into the seat. If you have this in the open position and you start to screw this body and this will smash up against the seat, you'll destroy the washer and you'll actually destroy the cup. So make sure your stem is in the open position, fully opened. You also want to make sure your packing nut is snug, at least in this case. And the reason I say in this case is because we have a body that's set so deeply in the wall that it'd be hard to get at it. So you want to just give it a little snug up, make sure that's tight, because we don't want any leaks out of that stem when you turn the water on. And then we're going to go ahead, again, make sure this washer's on there. We're going to go ahead and put this in. We can start it by hand. And we'll get our socket wrench, get our channel locks, snug that up. Silicone lube inside here too. I'll wipe it on the inside of the threads of the sleeve, and we'll slip that on there. And the reason I do that is because if I ever have to service this again, the silicone acts as a barrier. So if I have to take the sleeve off again, it'll come off relatively easy. All right, we're not done yet. This void has to be filled up with silicone caulk, latex caulk, some kind of caulk, because if you don't fill this void in, water will seep behind the escutcheon and it'll work its way down behind the wall, and at some point you'll get yourself a leak downstairs. So if the void is particularly big, you want to get some foam rubber type of weather stripping. This like round foam rubber comes in, you know, 3/8, ½ inch, 3/4, depending upon how big this hole is. You might want to stuff it in there as a backing for the caulking. And then you'll smooth that caulking over, so you'll seal this hole up very nicely. After you do that, your sleeve goes back on. We're going to take our screwdriver and we're going to tighten this sleeve up to make sure it doesn't move. And then the handle goes back on. And again, remember the stem is in the open position, so what we're going to want to do is close it. And then after you have it fully closed, I like to position my handles, and depending upon the shape of your handles, I mean, you could face this in the up position, you could face this down. In this case, I'm going to face it down, and generally I face them all the same way. I try to keep them uniform. And then after we get that handle on, we'll get our screw, put our screw back in there. And oh, let me back up a second, just to tell you this. Put your silicone lubricant inside that handle broach there. fill that up with silicone lubricant, and that will also aid in the handle coming off if you have to get it off in the future. And we'll tighten this up. After we tighten that up, we put our button back on. And guess what, guys? You just replace the stems and the seats of your 3-valve shower body. Not too difficult. If you follow this step by step, I don't see that you should have an issue with it. If you guys have any questions at all, shoot me an email, info@bobsplumbingvideos.com. Again, we will do a separate video on the diverter. I will shoot a separate video on this showing you the function of the diverter. I'll show you actually what it looks like. Guys, I'm glad you stopped by. Please, please, please come by often. I have a lot to offer you guys. I'm glad you stopped by. I want to see you real soon in the next video. Happy plumbing, guys.